Today's Mortal Kombat 1 video is crazy because there's a rumor going around that Ermac and Quan Chi were meant to be on the base roster, but they got pushed back to DLC because they weren't finished yet. However, is that rumor true? I personally have my doubts, so today we're going to solve that big mystery. And if you think that story is crazy, well, get ready for this, because there's a reason that Shao Kahn has giant horns on his head in the new era of Mortal Kombat 1. And we're going to talk about it in today's video, because another day means more Mortal Kombat 1 news. I'm covering it all the time on my channel, pretty much daily at this point. So if you want to stay up to date on Mortal Kombat 1 news, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell, that way you never miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. It really does help my channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's get started. First up, let's tackle the biggest rumor that Mortal Kombat 1 has so far, the idea that Quan Chi and Ermac were meant to be on the base roster, but sadly NetherRealm just could not finish them in time, and as a result they got pushed back and became DLC for Combat Pack 1. It sounds like a pretty crazy theory on the surface, but it does have some solid theories backing it up. Number one, Quan Chi does show up in story mode. We actually saw this in the Reptile trailer that debuted over a month ago at EVO. Man, time flies when you're covering Mortal Kombat 1 news, I'll tell you what. But I digress. The sheer fact that Quan Chi shows up in story mode has led many to believe that he was meant to be on the base roster as a fully playable character. So that's big theory number one. Why does Quan Chi show up in story mode if he's not meant to be on the base roster? So here's theory number two, which is also pretty crazy. All the way back during the Lin Kuei trailer, a sinister voice can be heard off camera, and now some people are assuming this could be Ermac because he says "we."
The Lin Kuei, we have been expecting you.
In fact, if you're a veteran viewer of my channel, then you know that was one of my theories months ago. I went on record saying that voice could be Ermac since he does say "we have been expecting you." However, at the same time, I was throwing every name at the wall and seeing if any of them would stick. But that's theory number two. If that mysterious voice off screen is in fact Ermac, then that means he's going to be in story mode as well, just like Quan Chi. And that's why this theory kind of has legs. Both of these characters seem to show up in story mode, and therefore they were meant to be on the base roster but got pushed back to DLC. However, like I said at the very start of the video, I have my doubts about this rumor, so now's the fun part where I pretty much debunk the whole thing. For starters, that voice we hear off screen is almost definitely not Ermac's, and we know that because if we go on Twitter, Dominic himself, the writer for Mortal Kombat 1, has confirmed that Jameson Price is returning as Ermac. And just in case you don't know who that is, he's the same man that voiced Ermac in Mortal Kombat X, who sounded like this.
We are Ermac, as are we. There can be only one.
Believe it or not, Mr. Price has voiced a lot of video game characters that you likely know and love. In fact, he voiced Algol in Soul Calibur, which is so sick to me, and I can definitely hear the resemblance. The man sounds just like Ermac.
All I have desired is now within my hands.
So now let's take those two voices and compare them to see if they sound alike at all.
We are Ermac, as are we. The Lin Kuei, we have been expecting you.
In my honest opinion, this voice that we hear off screen sounds nothing like Jameson Price. However, that being said, voice actors do have some impressive range, so maybe that could be Ermac, but I'm just saying I have my doubts because I don't see why NetherRealm would hire the same voice actor from Mortal Kombat X to voice the same character but then tell him to sound completely different. Like, why would they do that? The entire point of rehiring the voice actor is to make sure the character sounds consistent. In fact, most of the characters in Mortal Kombat 1 have the same voice actors from Mortal Kombat 11, which is really cool, and as a result the character voices sound consistent from game to game, and that was NetherRealm's intention. So once again, one last time, I don't think the mysterious voice heard off screen during the Lin Kuei trailer is Ermac. Instead, I think it's likely to be General Shao.
We will destroy your champion, Liu Kang. He will taste no victory. We have been expecting you.
As you can see, this rumor that Ermac and Quan Chi were pushed back to DLC doesn't carry that much weight, and there's one more big piece of evidence I wanted to talk about, and that's actually the trailer itself for Combat Pack 1, because even though these characters look very similar to their in-game counterparts, they're not actually the same model. And I know this because I've been an animator for 8+ years, and for a short period I did work in the game industry, and believe it or not, when you watch a cinematic trailer, it's never the same character character models that you see in game. So for example, Katana right here is a completely different model from this Katana, and that's because video games work in real time, and therefore the characters must be lower poly and have less detailed textures as well. It's just how things work. If you tried to play Mortal Kombat 1 using this overly detailed character model for Katana, the game would not run well at all. It would be lagging constantly. The reality is that cinematic trailers have the advantage of rendering, which can take a really long time. Sometimes a single trailer can take an entire day to render. And once again, that's because the character models are way more detailed. There's way more polygons, the textures are much higher quality, and the lighting is absolutely insane. The lighting alone can take a really long time to render for a cinematic trailer. Alright, but the entire reason I brought this whole thing up is to point out that a render takes a long time, and making all of these highly detailed character models takes a really long time as well. Or in other words, NetherRealm knew for a very, very long time that Quan Chi and Ermac were going to be in Kombat Pack 1. That's why their character models look so good and detailed. I'm sorry, but you can't convince me that Ermac and Quan Chi were meant to be in the main game when their character models look this good in the cinematic trailer. Because believe it or not, this exact situation did actually happen with Mortal Kombat 11. Joker was not meant to be in Kombat Pack 1. Instead, it was likely meant to be Ash from the Evil Dead series, but NetherRealm could not get the rights to that character, so instead they had to add a Joker last minute, and that's why he looks like this. Yeah, you can kinda tell this character is not finished. When this design first debuted, people were like, oh my gosh, Joker looks terrible, but thankfully when the gameplay finally came out, he looked like this, which is much more accurate to his comic book appearance. So thankfully this was not the final version of Joker. Once again, it was a very rushed version of his design. And the same can't be said for Quan Chi and Ermac. These characters look fully designed, the textures are all updated. Yeah, these characters were always intended to be in Kombat Pack 1. However, with all that being said, I think it's very possible that every character in Kombat Pack 1 is going to show up in the story mode for Mortal Kombat 1, with the only exception being the guest characters, because come on, Omni-Man and Homelander in Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't exactly fit. But when it comes to the Mortal Kombat characters, I think there's a very strong chance that each of them shows up in some way or another for the story mode, and that's exactly why we see Quan Chi in story mode. Not because he was meant to be on the main roster, but because every character in Kombat Pack 1 is going to play some minor role in the story. At first I thought Takeda had no chance, but then Kronika got revealed, so now anything's possible. And then on top of that, Garrus has the Hourglass too, so maybe he brings Takeda into this new timeline? No idea, but my point is Takeda could definitely be in story mode, especially after Kronika got revealed to be in Mortal Kombat 1. But that's just my theory. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because I like making these videos interactive, so grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. Because next up, it's time to talk about General Shao. Why does this man have giant horns on his head in Mortal Kombat 1? Because when I first saw this guy, I assumed those horns were part of his costume, but nope, those are coming right out of his skull. And just in case you're new to the Mortal Kombat series, no, Shao Kahn has never had horns in any of the past games. And as a result, a bunch of fans have started posting several theories all over social media, and this one is my personal favorite, and it does kinda make sense. Because you see, there's one more character in Mortal Kombat who is famous for his gigantic horns, and his name is Onaga. That's right, the Dragon King himself. Believe it or not, it's very possible that Onaga is Shao's father in this new timeline, because keep in mind, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are brothers now, so when it comes to family relationships, anything can happen. And then on top of that, Sindel does refer to Shao's father as illustrious, which means he's famous and well regarded. Or in other words, everyone in Outworld knows and respects Shao's father, so it's very likely that he's Onaga, but in this timeline, he's not the Dragon King. Because don't forget, Sindel is actually the ruler of Outworld in this new era, along with Edenia. She rules over both kingdoms, it looks like. And as a result, Onaga is no longer the Dragon King, but he likely is still a dragon species of people that are very large, muscular, and have giant horns on their heads. That would definitely explain why General Shao has horns in the new era for Mortal Kombat 1, but so far it's just a theory. Which means one last time, I want all of you watching to grab that keyboard and post your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Onaga is General Shao's father in this new timeline? Or do you think it's just a style choice and NetherRealm wanted to make General Shao look different and distinct in this new game? I really do read every comment, so let me know your thoughts down below, and then while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell, that way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as as always, stay underdogs.